So what I then do is I'll go through the clip and you'll see in the second project that we do how this gets easier. But with this one, what I want to do is basically get rid of the dead video where I'm not doing anything because nobody wants to watch the trees, right? So I will drag this until I see me come into frame and I'll pull it just out and I'm going to put it right on the closest beat right there. And I'm going to highlight that clip right there. And down here, I hit split. Select the first part that I don't want, and I'm going to hit the delete right there. So once I delete that first part, it jumps to the front. It's almost like there's a spring on the end of it, pressing it towards the beginning. So when you delete part, it shifts it forward. So you always want to adjust your main part of your video first, because if you start adding stickers and text and all that, the text will usually move with it. But if you have a sticker, it's going to stay where it is, and the timeline is going to move, and it's all going to not sync up. Um, so if you can see where my white cursor line is right there, when I split it, it should split right there. And it's actually splitting over here. I've never had that before. Let's see. If I split it again.
Well, it wouldn't be a live training without a hiccup or two.
Right? Exactly. Those things that never happen, they're happening right now. You know, when you split a clip, it splits it right on that line. It's never split it like an inch down.
But you can move both endpoints of the split anyway, right?
Yeah, you can. And I was trying to move that one. It might be what I need to do here. Down the end. So you can grab that cursor end of it and just bring it back right there. All right, so then I'm on a frame. And then we look at the next one. Find myself. Here I am. I'll find that yellow dot there and see how this one splits
Hmm.
down the line. I'm going to try dragging. No, I might try restarting the app.
It may be because you're using the iPad and not a computer. I don't know, or a phone.
Yeah, I've been
Right.
using I've been using it on the iPad for the last 3 weeks. It hasn't done this. So you usually won't run into this. Eight.
I've
Mine,
never had it
mine,
happen
mine
to me.
always does that.
See, even right there, I'm not even on a line. It's one clip and it's actually switching between different clips. I'm going to try getting out of it and get back into it. Hopefully that helps. Everybody still seeing my screen? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's good. That works.
Now, if you recorded a video on your phone and you put it into CapCut and you wanted to do, rather than the TikTok, a YouTube video, would you go into the aspect ratio and try to change it? But you wouldn't, that wouldn't format the video. It would just kind of give you a bigger background, correct?
You would change it to this the 16:9, so you'd have more of a landscape. But what happens is when you have a landscape, like a YouTube picture, not a short, but an actual YouTube long form, is when you export it, it will give you the option to also do the other aspect ratio. And basically what it'll do, so right now you have me, my face is here. What it will do is actually just it'll zoom me in so that I'm right here. So
Gotcha.
it does kind of edit that itself. And, all right, because now I go to 0. I can move this without it bouncing out of where I need it to be. So we're good so far. I'm going to try and clip these where I needed to before. So I align it right there. I hit split and it splits on the line. Look at that. Amazing. All right, so I'm going to take that part there that I don't need and just delete it. That one's good. I'm going to go through this one. I go on that yellow line, on that yellow dot right down there. And a split. So I think Scott had mentioned earlier too, is what I can do is where I made this cut right here, I can also drag it. So, and I'll show you here. So right there, I'm out of the picture. What I can do is actually grab that plus sign a little bit. So right there. So instead of cutting it and deleting it, I can just pull this end in and it kind of snaps right into place there, right on the line. So I don't have to cut and delete. And I go to the next clip. On the yellow line. Split. I'm going to delete. Sometimes when you have a long clip, it's hard to drag, but it's nice to fine tune that way. So you'll also see in these, I'm using a gimbal, and when you put your hand up, it stops the recording. Doesn't always work great, so I'm like going like that sometimes. All right, so right there. Split. Delete that back end. So everybody see how it's splitting on deleting the part that I don't want. And ultimately it's leaving all of these in line. Now, if I brought these images in the wrong order, the videos in the wrong order, if I long press, do it with your finger, you long press that, you'll get this. It brings all the clips into little squares, and I can move this, and I can move the position of it where I want it. And then just release, and it brings it right back here. So if you're in the wrong order, you can rearrange them. Sometimes you're trying to move it, and it will long press it, and it'll move your clip like down the road. All you do is hit the undo button, put it right back in place. All right, so here's one. Yeah.
Will the end result of what you're doing basically look like you just, did a recording, hit pause, started about, I mean, that'll be like the transition?
Right. Exactly. And of course, I'm taking the time going through and explaining all the little pieces. This should take no more than a minute and a half
For
to go
you.
through all this because you're familiar with your video. You know the spaces that you left. So this one, it actually recognizes my movement. So you can see it followed me right there. It didn't do it that great, but so what I'm going to do is find a part where I'm running in here.
And
Mosquitoes
is
are
this
eating me
done with your
alive.
phone
This is with my phone, yes.
and a tripod or something?
Yep, tripod and a gimbal. So
Gotcha.
gimbal, if nobody's familiar with it,
Is that the one that moves with you so it follows you?
you've seen them on TikTok where they
Yeah.
they walk around and it follows you, and uh, you can see it there with my head cut out. So it moves, it keeps things level, it gives you more even, steady shots.
Gotcha.
So especially if you're walking, it'll help keep it level. So I figure right there, I'm starting to run. I do is cut that, delete the first part. I'm doing a slow motion leap right there. I'm gonna cut it right there. Delete that other part. All right, so here I hit record. All right, so I just walk through there. So there's a close up of me. Instead of doing all the same shots, getting a different perspective can help change the viewer's attention. It kind of helps keep them interested because um, they're getting a shift. See, so do it right back there. Split and delete. That was a quick one. I just walked right by.
Now, in this clip, if you just say you were talking about something, whatever, could you add like a picture to that, even though this is a recording?
Yes. Yes, you can. And I'll show you how to add pictures and stickers and other videos on how to overlay that as well. Here's one where I actually put the camera up in a tree. I got me walking by.
You climb the tree to put the camera up there?
Barely. I was kind of tippy toes and I did a little kind of tossed it up there and it landed right there. I did have my little kind of selfie stick, kind of propped it up there a little bit.